So now I'm talking to introduce another approach to finding rank. We are doing the elementary transformation of a matrix, which we are used to in determinant calculations, but here we'll explain this again. Now, any one of the following operations on a matrix is called an elementary transformation. Okay. One, interchanging any two rows or two columns. So we say R1 and double arrow, Ri double arrow Rj. That means ith row and jth row are interchanged. Or we write Ci double arrow Cj, which means ith row and jth row are ith column and jth column are interchanged. So this is called as an elementary transformation. In a matrix, we do an elementary transformation. This is one. Next, multiplication of the elements of any row by a non-zero scalar quantity and indicated as Ri becomes K times Ri. So we multiply a row by a scalar, which is non-zero. That is called as elementary transformation. Similarly, you can do it for a column. Multiply any column with a scalar. You get an elementary transformed matrix. All right. Next, addition of a constant multiple of the elements of any row to corresponding element of any other row, indicated as Ri is equal to Ri plus K times Rj. So this is a matrix. 2, 3, 5, 1, 0, 4, 3, minus 1, 2. Okay. This is matrix A. All right. Now I'll make an equivalent matrix. What I will do, I will do row 3 as row 3 plus some 2 times row 2. Okay. So 2, 3, 5 remain as it is because operation is only on row 3. So first and second rows remain as they are. The third row becomes third row plus 2 times the second row. Multiply the second row by 2. This becomes 2. This becomes 8. Then 3 plus 2 is 5. Minus 1 plus 0, 0. 2 plus 8, 10. So this is the example of a elementary row transformation. Okay, this can be done for a column also. Elementary column transformation also you can do, but generally we do it for rows. So two matrices are said to be equivalent if one is obtained from another by elementary transformations. The symbol equivalence, symbol this double tilde is used for equivalence. This is the symbol for equivalence. So this matrix and this matrix, these two are equivalent matrices. So coming back to the rank, elementary operations do not change the rank of a matrix. So if two matrices are equivalent by the way of elementary row transformations, their ranks will be equal. Okay, their ranks will be equal. These are elementary row transformations or elementary column transformations. Definition of echelon form of a matrix. This becomes very, very useful for finding ranks. If you have say 10 by 10 matrix, to find a determinant of 10 by 10 order, you are finished. All right. Now, if you have to give a computer program for a computer to determine the rank of a 10 by 10 matrix, you will not say, okay, find the determinant of 10 by 10 matrix. Suppose that is 0. Then how many 9 by 9 matrices you will have? 100. You can omit any one of the columns or any one of the rows. You will have 100 9 by 9 ninth order minors. You keep evaluating, you will waste so much time. So there is this idea of echelon form of a matrix. Now, by elementary row transformations, what we did here, we can come up with an equivalent matrix which is in this form. What is this form? See the conditions. See the conditions of this form. Just a second. I'll expand. Pay very careful attention. So a non-zero matrix A is said to be an echelon form of A satisfying if A satisfies the following conditions. All the non-zero rows of A, if any precede the zero rows. So you see from the bottom, suppose they are zeros. Any non-zero row should be before the zero row. Zero rows cannot be in between. Your zero elements should progressively increase. In the first row, there are no zero elements. Okay. Now, the first element is 0 in the second row. The first and the second element is 0 in the third row. So such a form is called as an echelon form. Now you see the number of zeros preceding the first non-zero element, the number of zeros preceding the first non-zero element in a row is less than the number of such zeros in the succeeding row. So in a preceding row, this is the second row, you have first number of zeros before the first non-zero element is 1. Number of zeros before the first non-zero element in the third row is 2. So it should precede. Echelon form can also be in other forms, but these conditions have to satisfy. First one, all the non-zero rows of A, if any, precede the zero rows. So non-zero rows will precede the zero rows. Precede means it comes before the zero rows. The number of zeros preceding means coming before. The number of zeros preceding the first non-zero element in a row is less than the number of such zeros in the succeeding row. Third, the first non-zero element in a row is unity. This is unity. The first non-zero element in a row is unity. So you see the first non-zero row is unity. It is 1. Okay. So then we call, if these three conditions are satisfied, then we call that this is the echelon form of a matrix. This is an echelon form of a matrix. All right. Now, the rank through its echelon form is very simple. It is the number of non-zero rows in an echelon form. The number of non-zero rows in an echelon form gives you the rank of the matrix.